Did you know that Germany is holding a snap election on February 23rd, 2025, right around the corner? This unexpected turn of events comes after the collapse of the ruling coalition, and it could reshape the country's political future. But this election is about more than just picking a new government. With debates over immigration, rising nationalism, and the fear of history repeating itself, the stakes couldn't be higher. Could today's political shift echo darker periods of Germany's history? Germany's federal elections were originally scheduled for late 2025, so why are voters heading to the polls early? Well, in November of 2024, Chancellor Olaf Scholz's coalition government, a partnership between the Social Democrats, SPD, the Greens, die Grünen, and Free Democrats, the FDP, collapsed. Disagreements over how to handle immigration and economic challenges sounds pretty familiar, but that led to irreconcilable tensions in the country. This left Germany's president with no choice but to dissolve the parliament and call for new elections. Snap elections are actually very rare in Germany's post-war history. They signal moments of significant political upheaval and uncertainty. The stakes are especially high this time because the election will decide who leads Europe's largest economy during a period of social division and economic stress. Many are asking, will this election bring stability or deepen the fractures in German society? Understanding this context is crucial for grasping the urgency of the upcoming vote. The fallout from the coalition's collapse highlights not just party politics, but deep division in German society over issues like immigration and national identity. And this tension within the country sets the stage for the dramatic rise of parties like the far-right AFD, which we'll explore next. For decades, Germany has been a destination for immigrants from guest workers of the 1960s to refugees of the 2015 crisis. The influx has brought cultural diversity and economic contributions, but it also created challenges. Today, immigration is actually one of the most divisive issues in German politics. In 2024, Germany received over 300,000 asylum applications, the highest number since 2015. Towns like Suhl have seen dramatic demographic changes, with migrants now outnumbering the locals. While this diversity for sure can enrich communities, it has also strained public services like housing, education, and healthcare in the country. Many residents feel like their concerns aren't being addressed, fueling frustration and political polarization. This polarization is reflected in public opinions. A growing number of Germans support stricter immigration controls, while others advocate for greater efforts to integrate those migrants and uphold humanitarian values. The issue has become a lightning rod for broader debates about national identity, economic security, and social cohesion. Enter the Alternative for Germany, AfD. This far-right party has surged in popularity by capitalizing on fear about immigration and portraying themselves as the voice of ordinary Germans. Their platform includes calls for stricter border controls, reducing asylum applications, and even re-migration policies, a term used to describe efforts to deport migrants, including those with German citizenship. Supporters of the AfD argue that the party is addressing actually legitimate concerns ignored by the political establishment. Critics, however, warn that their rhetoric and policies risk dividing society and undermining Germany's democratic values. This tension between addressing real issues and avoiding extremism is at the heart of Germany's immigration debate. The question now is, how will this debate influence the election? And could the rise of the AfD mark the turning point in Germany's approach to immigration and integration? We all know Germany's history casts a long shadow over its present. The rise of extreme ideologies in the 1930s taught the world a hard lesson about the dangers of polarization, economic hardship, and scapegoating vulnerable groups. For decades after World War II, Germany worked tirelessly to establish a stable democracy, enshrine human rights, and confront its past head-on. Yet today, some worry that the currents of history could once again steer the country towards dangerous waters. The parallels are striking. Economic anxiety, rising nationalism, and divisive rhetoric have created an atmosphere of uncertainty in the country. The AfD's surge in popularity has led some to draw comparisons to the political climate of the Weimar Republic back in the day, where economic instability and political fragmentation paved the way for authoritarianism. While these comparisons are not exact, they highlight the importance of vigilance in protecting democratic values. Many of my fellow Germans are asking hard questions. Could the political gains of the far-right parties signal a shift away from the country's commitment to inclusivity and human rights? Are we seeing the early signs of a deep social divide? And most importantly, how can Germany address these issues without repeating the mistakes of the past? One critical difference today is the strength of Germany's democratic institutions, the checks and balances within the electoral system, the independence of the judiciary, and the vigilance of civil society provided safeguards that didn't exist in the 1930s. However, these systems rely on public trust and participation, both of which are being tested in this election. Understanding the past is key to navigating the present. By learning from history, Germany has the opportunity to confront its challenges while remaining a beacon of democracy and stability in Europe. Checks and balances, Germany's electoral system is designed to promote fair representation and prevent a single party from dominating. A direct response to the lesson we all learned from the dark history the country had. At its core is a mixed member proportional system which combines elements of direct and proportional representation to create a balanced and inclusive parliament. Each voter gets 2 votes, one for the candidate in their local district, the first past the post vote, and one for the party list at the state level, the proportional vote. The first vote ensures that every region has a direct representative, while the second vote determines the overall distribution of seats in the Bundestag. This system helps smaller parties gain representation while preventing larger parties from achieving unchecked power. A critical feature of this system is the 5% threshold. Parties must win at least 5% of the national vote or 3 direct mandates to secure seats in the parliament. This rule was introduced to prevent political fragmentation and the rise of extremist factions as seen during the Weimar Republic. While this threshold fosters stability, it also adds complexity to coalition building, as no single party can typically govern alone. In practice, this means German governments are almost always coalitions. For example, the 2021 election led to the traffic light coalition of the SPD, the Greens, and the FDP. The reason why we call it traffic light coalition is because the colors of the SPD are red, the Green Party is green, and the FDP is yellow. However, as we've seen with the collapse of Olaf Scholz's government, these alliances are not always stable. If the AfD gains significant ground in 2025, traditional parties will face even greater challenges in forming a majority coalition. Germany's electoral system actually reflects the country's commitment to democracy and pluralism by balancing representation with safeguards against extremism. It ensures that every vote matters while protecting the integrity of the political process. But as the upcoming election shows, even the most robust systems are tested during times of division and uncertainty. So what's at stake for Germany and Europe? This election isn't just about who will govern Germany. It's about the country's role in shaping Europe's future. As the EU's largest economy, Germany sets the tone for policies on immigration, climate change, and economic recovery across the continent. The stakes actually extend far beyond its borders. A strong showing by the AFD could embolden similar movements in other European countries, potentially shifting the balance of power within the EU. On the other hand, a reaffirmation of Germany's progressive and democratic values could serve as a counterbalance to rising nationalism elsewhere. Either way, the outcome will have a ripple effect on international relations, economic stability, and the future of European integration. Domestically, the election will shape Germany's approach to pressing issues like immigration, energy policies, and social cohesion. The question is, will the country lean towards stricter controls and nationalist policies, or will it double down on inclusivity and multilateralism? The whole world is watching as February 2025 approaches really quickly and Germany faces a defining moment in its history. The choices its voters make will resonate for years to come, not just within Germany, but across Europe and beyond. Potential global consequences Germany's choices in the election will ripple far beyond its borders, shaping global politics in profound ways. Migration policies worldwide. If Germany adopts stricter immigration controls, it could encourage other nations to follow suit, tightening refugee and asylum policies worldwide. Conversely, a pro-immigration outcome could strengthen international efforts to address global migration challenges and issues. The impact of populism, a strong performance by the AFD might embolden far-right movements in countries like France, Italy, the UK, and even the United States, where similar debates are ongoing. Germany's election could set a precedent for how nations balance nationalist rhetoric and inclusive policies. Believe it or not, but Germany's economy influences global markets. A shift toward protectionist policies could disrupt trade relationships, while a commitment to green energy and sustainability could accelerate global progress on climate goals. As a cornerstone of the EU, Germany's direction could affect the whole entire continent's cohesion. A government leaning towards nationalist policies might challenge EU's solidarity, while a progressive government could reinforce integration and collective problem solving within Europe. As February 2025 approaches, the world will be watching closely. Germany stands at a crossroad, and its decisions will resonate far beyond its borders, influencing global trends in politics, economics, and human rights for years to come. As we've explored in this video, the 2025 Bundestag elections in Germany are not just about Germany's political future, they represent a critical junction for Europe and the world. The choices made in February will ripple through global politics, influencing migration policies, economic strategies, and the balance between nationalism and multilateralism. Now, it's your turn. What do you think about the challenges facing Germany? Could the rise of nationalist parties reshape global trends? I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this video helpful, make sure you watch some of my other not as serious topics. I'm pretty sure you're gonna enjoy it. Please give this video a thumbs up, share it with your friends and family, and subscribe to the channel. Turn the notification bell on for more deep dives into Germany, the USA, and the fascinating connections between cultures. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Tschüss!